And you do need to make sure you come to those sessions. If you've not been to one of them already, you need to ensure that you know what's going on in the Be Your Own Bank movement. And that way you will have a lot of clarity, less queries, more clarity. So you do need to know that there are webinars available. I will go into that shortly. But just let me know that you already signed up, registered for the BYOB Summit. There are 2 this month, the month of March, one this very Saturday. And of course, if you are in the area and if you're not in the area, then still show up for that summit. And it's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in Jacksonville, Florida. We also have another one the following Saturday on the 25th of March, and it's also at the same time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you can see here, it says reserve your spot. How do you reserve your spot? You're going to register for the summit. So let me help you. For Jacksonville, Florida, you just need to type in your search engine BYOB movement, JAX, which represents the word Jacksonville. It's the short. So it's BYOB movement, jax.eventbrite.com. And for the one in Cleveland, Ohio, it is BYOB movement, cleveland.eventbrite.com. So you would just need to click on reserve your spot, and what comes up are those flyers. So you can see our Wealth Summit for Jacksonville on the 18th, and on the 25th of March, we have the one for Cleveland, Ohio. So it's all there for you, ladies and gentlemen, for you to see, reserve your spot. And of course, we have our mobile app, our movement, Be Your Own Bank Movement worldwide app. If you've not yet downloaded the app, then of course, we're expecting that to happen as yesterday, okay? So you should have your BYOB mobile app. And if you have not done so, you need to do so like yesterday. So this is where you can access all the information you require, and it's there for your source of success. So you must try and download that app. So we also have our very own shop. Yes, I call it the one-stop shop as well, because you can get so much merchandise there. Why not show off our movement? If you're not able to say too much about the movement, wear the merchandise and send them to our website. Okay, if you can't explain everything about what we do, wear the merchandise that or use them, and of course send them to our website, which is www.bybmovementworldwide.com. And as I mentioned earlier, we have webinars. So on Sundays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can see we have a webinar, wealth webinar. And on Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have another wealth webinar. So we would have had one yesterday. We had so many things going on yesterday, including our broadcast, and that's why we call it our Great Power Packed Tuesdays. So yes, we had a webinar yesterday. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a one-stop shop. The movement offers so many things, and that's why we want you to get everyone to go to the website. That way you can see everything that we want you to know about. So, you know, we have our trading academy, BYOB funding, we have our shop that I mentioned just now, and real estate services, the education. So ladies and gentlemen, how about being part of this movement? And now we are definitely going to move along. This is our live trading analysis call. And just let me add, we will not always be available on Zoom. We will offer what we do now, and it's going to be on social media for you only for a few weeks. And that way you can understand the variety that BYOB is offering. So in order to obtain the training and resources that BYOB has brought and offered, you're going to have to be enrolled into our platform. So yes, we are happy to have you all, and we want you to continue to keep plugging in and keep plugging in. And for those who are new to this call, let me just say, we have affirmations. They are very, 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 very important. And I will just help you with the affirmations because I don't expect you to know if you're coming on for the first or second time. So let me help you with that. I am an educated BYOB master trader, anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All my trades end in profit. I am 777. Now, if you're always coming on the calls, you would have heard us all as educators say, you can add to these affirmations, just do not take away from it, because as it is very, very powerful, and that way it will manifest. So that's what our affirmations look like. That's what they sound like. And we're going to get going. Today is Wednesday, our Win-Win and Wealthy Wednesday, the 15th day of March. We are already middle of the month. And of course, exciting times. We have our first summit for 2023 this very weekend. We are going to be live. And yes, you get to see the human side of these voices. So now I'm going to go straight in. And in order to move on, we are definitely going to look at fundamentals. We do first things first, because as educated traders, we need to know exactly what we're about. So we are going to check the news out. The fundamentals we know move the market. So now I'm going to definitely move on by looking at the news. Have to be on the right day, ladies and gentlemen, and the right date. So here we are. We need to be on the right date and the right date. So now we can see on Wednesday, the 15th day of March, what news came out. We look for those red folders. And just to remind you all, this is the first Wednesday after NFP. So we are expecting quite a bit of movement today in the market, especially for the US currencies. So here we are on the news. What are we seeing at this time of the morning? Just let me remind those who live outside of the US that there is a time change. So yes, one of the reasons why we need to be aware is that when we look at the news, we need to be aware of the adjustments that need to be made. So now the US is 4 hours behind us in the United Kingdom. So bear that in mind. And now we are seeing no red folders for this time of the morning, no red folders. But later on, we are going to see quite a few red folders. So if you look right here, you see at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have some red folders, which simply means high impact news release. They usually move the market. We see a PPI there, and we know what PPIs do. They do move the market. And we have other red folders here for the US. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's quite a few news releases, 5 red folders. So that looks good for us. And we should be able to trade and make some money with those moves. And again, later, I see no more red folders. Yes, there is one for JPY. And that is at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have a number of red folders to keep us moving this morning. And then we go to FX Street. And the reason why we do go to another financial news source, it's because we do need to cross-reference. And why do we cross-reference? There are times when one news source will give us a red folder and alert us of a high impact news release. Another might highlight it or tag it as a medium impact. And so sometimes we are taken off guard. So we do not want anyone to be taken off guard. Hence, we give you 3 financial news sources to check. So here we are now on FX Street. And what I have noticed is today NZD has red folders. You would have noticed on my FX book that was not flagged up. So that's why it's important to check more than one news sources. Okay, so NZD, we have red folders, and of course, we're aware of the US news already. I won't go back into that. And as you can see for JPY, it's flagged up as a medium impact, whereas my FX book flagged it as a red folder, which is a high impact news release. Hence, it's so important to double check on the other news sources. For Forex Factory, so it's 3 of the news sources that we check: my FX book, FX Street, and Forex Factory. I'm now on Forex Factory. What am I seeing? Well, GBP now has a news release, and it's a high impact at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That was not highlighted on my FX book or FX Street. So now we know GBP, we have a high impact news release at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, we are aware of the US news and the NZD. Wow. So there is AUD news release as well. And we have 2 high impacts. Again, that was not highlighted on the other news sources. So please make notes. We have quite a few red folders today. So now that we know about the red folders, why is it so important that we know about them? 1, they move the market. 2, we do not jump into trades before the news release. We actually trade after the news release has happened. And so we do not get into trades before the news release. We wait for the news to happen. We wait for it to settle. And then we wait to see the effects of it, and we get a direction. So around an hour is good enough to wait after a news release. So now you do know why it's important to wait. It's always good to do your technical analysis, understand sentimental, and be aware that you do not jump in before the right time. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move along. But for those who have just logged on to the call, letting you know that this is the live trading analysis call, the basics. And I want you to know what we are going to do now is understand the BYOB cash out strategy in its simplicity. So if you have been on the call yesterday and see the trades that were taken and how profitable they were, I want you to drop 777s in the chat. I want you to drop some 777s in the chat. If you have noticed, you've been on the call, you've noticed that the trades were profitable, I want you to drop a 777 in the chat. It's important that when you are on the calls, you do understand what we're doing, and you too can participate in a market, a global market that is so vast. We want you to be able to take trades and be profitable. So thank you for dropping in your 777s in the chat. And yes, the BYOB cash out strategy is a market strategy. It is price action with a twist. And I will repeat this at the end as well. Before I forget, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today, we have another call at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be reminded that you need to be on that call. Yes, that call, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to have BYOB Market Weekly set up at that time. And it's all about getting you to understand the bigger picture of the market when we do our weekly setup. So before we move on to the chart, we always do something. If you're new, follow suit. But we do something before we move on to the charts. So yes, we are from different parts of the world, of course, and we are coming together on one platform that was made possible only by the mastermind team. Otherwise, none of us would be here. So we do salute our mastermind team at this time. And I would like to personally thank Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, our visionary, the founder of the Be Your Own Bank movement, and our co-founder, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer. She is our trade whisperer, the phenomenal woman who created the BYOB cash out strategy that we are about to use. So once again, we thank the mastermind team. And we are going to head on to the charts. So ladies and gentlemen, if you remember yesterday, we definitely did our overview on the BYOB cash out strategy, and we were able to go to the website where we can find the strategy. So we would need to click on live feed, and that's exactly what I have done. And I'm going to go to the BYOB cash out strategy. So there we are, BYOB cash out strategy. And you should be able to see that. I'll just open that up. And of course, we need to make sure that we choose the pair for this morning that we would like to do the overview on. And I've already got one in mind, and that is AUD USD. So I go right here and I change the currency pair, AUD USD. And that's the pair I will be looking at this morning. The Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Well, I do not necessarily need the volume at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hide the volume. So I just click on that I, and then I can hide it. So I'm going to be looking at AUD USD for a sell opportunity. You would have noticed yesterday that I looked at a buy opportunity. This morning, I will be looking at a sell opportunity. So you are able to see the BYOB cash out strategy played out. It's going to be a historical trade. So I'm not yet live in the market. It's a historical trade, just so you can see, just so you can understand how it plays out. So now I'm on the 15-minute time frame. That's my time frame that I start at, or on 15-minute time frame, and it's our time frame of analysis. So if you're new to the call, start to make notes. 15 minutes time frame, it's our time frame of analysis. And for a potential sell, we must start, or it doesn't matter what you're trading, we must start on the 15-minute time frame, our time frame of analysis. So let's look at a potential sell, one that has already played out. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to tag this candle right here, because when we do the BYOB cash out strategy, the first thing we look for is our leading indicator. And what you can see here is our blue line has already crossed below our red line pointing downwards. So if you look at my vertical broken line, that's where I am on this candle. You can see that my blue line is below my red line. So just let me tag my candle so you can see. Okay. So here we are. I need to find an arrow that is pointing down. So there we are. You can see the blue line crossed below the red line already. It has already made its cross down, pointing downward in a downward direction. And you're able to see that we have a red candle there. On the 15-minute time frame, we must have a flat top red candle. It's non-negotiable. And we must have a PR at the top. That's also non-negotiable. 3 indicators must be in agreement. So again, the blue line pointing below the red line downwards, blue below the red, down pointing downwards, red candle with a flat top, PR at the top. We must have 3 indicators in alignment on our 15-minute time frame, our time frame of analysis. Now it's time to move on to a bigger time frame, and that's the 1 hour time frame, and it's our time frame of confluence. It's time to move on to that bigger time frame. If you're new, it's the same market. We're just looking at it from a different viewpoint. And what you're seeing here is another time frame, the 1 hour. We must again look at our leading indicator, which is the stochastic. It doesn't matter which time frame we go on, we must look at the stochastic first because it's our leading indicator. What you can see is that the blue line has crossed below the red line, pointing downwards. That's what you're seeing. and you need to see a red candle. And that's all you have to see, really, just a red candle. It doesn't have to have a flat top. It doesn't have to have a P star at the top, just a red candle. 2 indicators on the time frame of confluence. And that's what we're getting. That's what we're seeing. And it's time to move to our time frame of entry. It is a smaller time frame, and it is the time frame that we enter our trades. We only need 2 indicators once again. 2 indicators. And we start with our stochastic, which is our leading indicator. And you can see the blue line pointing below the red line pointing downwards, and you're able to see a red candle. Now, 2 indicators is all that you need. However, this is a basics call. If you are new, and I expect that new people would come onto this call from time to time, we do recommend, it is a suggestion, that you wait for a flat top red candle. And that is exactly what works better, because we tend to see that the entries are smoother when you get a flat top red candle, as opposed to a candle that has a wick or a little stick at the top, like that candle. So a flat top red candle is what we recommend on the 5 minutes for those who are new to trading. It removes that anxiety. So once you have your 2 indicators in agreement or in alignment on the 5 minutes, remember to make sure the 15 minutes still has your 3 indicators in agreement or in alignment. Your 1 hour has 2 indicators in agreement or in alignment, and your 5 minute has those 2 indicators in agreement or in alignment. And then you'd be ready to get into the trade, basically. So if you were in this trade, what would happen? You would see that price continue to move down and down and down. And guess what? You would be able to catch all those pips. Say thank you to your personal ATM. And guess what? Put your 777s in the Telegram community. And now, if you have been able to follow through on the BYOB cash out strategy overview, then I want you to go and put those 555s in the chat as we get ready to trade live in the market this morning. Drop those 555s in the chat. Drop those 555s in the chat. Okay, is that everyone? I would hope so. I would hope everyone understood what we've just done. The BYOB cash out strategy, in its simplicity, we use 3 indicators to help us understand the strategy. And once you understand it, you can make money in this market. Yes, you do need to learn and understand the skill set in its entirety, but this is a starting point for you to start seeing some profits. So now I am going to share my screen, and it's another screen. Be mindful, ladies and gentlemen, that I am using TradingView. It is quite easy to use. And as you see me go through the trade, just watch what we do, and it helps you to see how we use it. But as we move into having our sessions on our platform, then of course there is more to get from this platform. But for now, we're on Zoom. You just need to watch and see what I'm doing, and that way you'll be able to learn. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to do a new share. I hope that you're enjoying this as much as I am. Okay. And I will be looking at 2 currency pairs this morning. I'll be looking at 2 currency pairs this morning for you. And this is Wednesday. Again, I want my pace setters to be on the ball. You had a little time to wake up. You had a little time to wake up. So I've given you enough time to start getting your thoughts together, and we are ready to trade live. So pace setters, you're going to help me this morning to trade live in this market. Now, if I start with JPY pair, I hope you don't mind, but I'm looking at JPY this morning. So I'm looking here on NZD JPY. Let's go. Pace setters, now we are on NZD JPY. That is a currency pair we are going to be looking at. Let's start the ball rolling. So in order to start the ball rolling, what's the first thing I need to do? We're doing this together. We are going to get this together, okay? We're going to master the skill set together. So I've seen one person putting it in the chat. If you agree, put the same time frame in the chat. The 15-minute time frame is the time frame of analysis, and that is our starting point, our time frame of analysis. So what we can say here is we're on the 15-minute time frame. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the 15-minute time frame. So we are seeing that 3 indicators must be in agreement or in alignment. 3 indicators, okay? And we're seeing 3 indicators in agreement. Blue line on the stochastic is still below the red line pointing downwards. And I know if you're already trading, you're aware that it's been selling for a little while. NZD JPY on the 15 minutes, we're seeing that its price has been moving downwards. So we know we are in an oversold. As price moved down, we know once we get to that 20 marker, we are now approaching that oversold area, and we are oversold at the moment. And we will talk about that in a little bit, why we know that the blue is below the red, but we wouldn't jump in yet because we're in an oversold territory. We have a red candle with a flat top. That's what we're looking for. And the PSAR at the top, which makes it 3 indicators in agreement or in alignment. So that's the 15 minutes time frame. We did say we would not jump in yet because we're in that oversold territory. And yes, we are now going to move on to our 1-hour time frame. Now, this morning, we are going to do things a little different because I'm going to be drawing in those areas in the market that you need to recognize. And of course, we need to know where we are in the market. So now I'm moving to my 1-hour time frame, my time frame of confluence, my time frame of confluence. Now, my time frame of confluence is the 1-hour time frame. And as I said, it's the same market. We're looking at it from a different viewpoint. Again, we only look for 2 indicators, not 3, as we do on the 15-minute time frame. We only need 2 on our time frame of confluence. What do we need to see? Once again, the blue line must be pointing below the red line, pointing downwards, and we must see just a red candle. Now, it is okay if we have a flat top red candle. It is definitely okay, because it just tells us we have additional confirmation that there is momentum to the downside. And what we can see is that we have a flat top red candle and additional confirmation because we had that PSAR as well. So we can see the previous candle, we had a PSAR flip, and now we have the PSAR on this candle, which is good news because there is momentum to the downside. So our 1-hour time frame would be looking fantastic. Very good. Very, very good. And it's time to move along. So pace setters, remember, your role is to put it in the chat ahead of time where we move to next and tell us what time frame it is. So I'm looking out for, well, no, we are not moving to the 5-minute just yet. We have to go to a bigger time frame, bigger than the 1-hour time frame. And that time frame is, someone drop it in the chat. What time frame is that? Our time frame of authority the 4 hour. Thank you, pace setters. That's our time frame of authority. So what we are having here is our 4 hour time frame, our time frame of authority. And what do we need to see? Again, 2 indicators in agreement or in alignment. Now drop it in the chat if you can see those 2 indicators that you're able to see. Tell me if they're in agreement or in alignment. Drop it in the chat. We're doing this together. Are you seeing 2 indicators that are in agreement or in alignment on the 4 hour time frame? Because we are going to draw up what we call our zones shortly, because we need to know where we are in the market. Okay, so we have 1 person put yes. Any more yeses? Okay, I presume it's because there is a delay on my end. So maybe that's why the yeses took a little while to come through. So here we are on the 4 hour. We're seeing that we have 2 indicators in agreement or in alignment. And I'm going to start putting in my zones so you can see where we are in the market. So we're taking it a notch higher. We are going to take it a notch higher. And so in order to put in my zones, you need to first of all recognize where we were in the market. And we experienced some resistance. So I'm going to put it up here, and you're going to tell me if this is correct. I think I'll change the color. That's a little bit too dark. No. I need one that's going to be bright. Okay, no. Actually, I should go for white. But it's not even coming out as white as I would like it to. All right. Okay, it's a black screen, but can you see my zones? Put a 333 in the chat if you can see my zone. Because I need you to tell me if that's where my zone should be. You can see my, okay, great. Now, is this where I was in the market? Is that where I was current? Can you see the zone there? Is that where I was? You can put a yes or a no. Participation today. Everyone needs to get this. Is that where I was in the market? Put a yes or a no. And when you put your answers, I will move along. Yes or a no. Is that where I was? Is that where I was? Correct. It's a no. So I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to pull it down. And what you can see is that this is where I was in the market. This is where I was in the market. And I'm going to put a little arrow there as well, because I need you to recognize where I was in the market. Now, if you understand that this is where we were in the market, put a 555 in the chat. That is exactly where I was in the market. And what can you see? This is where I was in the market. What can you see? We came to this level in the market and we were getting rejection. So we saw price rejecting off that level. Now, anyone can tell me why or what do you see here? We know we were at a support and resistance level, but have you picked up anything? Have you picked up anything? Have you picked up anything? Ha! Look at you. Look at you all. Wow. Yes, we came to that level in the market where we can see that we were at a psychological level. Oh, wow. So was it a mid or a quarter point? What was it? Drop it in the chat. Which one was it? Was it midpoint, quarter, major? Correct. So you see I put my blue line so you can see that we came to a major psychological level. Another name for, well, psychological levels are also called support and resistance levels in the market. We call them major support and resistance level or major psychological level. So this is where we were in the market. We also have midpoints. We also have quarter points. But as you plug in and plug in and plug in, you learn more and more about the psychological level. So we are here now. This is where price is. So you see why we are here. Price came to this level once. It hit that zone twice, 3 times, 4 times. And if you were to look to the left, because you know we always have to look to the left. If you look to the left, you can see we came here before. And when we came here before, price rejected off here, and we saw price move to the downside. We are back to this level again. And what we are seeing is price moving to the downside. So ladies and gentlemen, we see price moving down. So we're looking to see price move down for a little longer so we can catch our pips for the morning. So let's move to where we call our top down, and we're going to put in our, what lines are we going to put in, ladies and gentlemen, so we can trade between them? What lines are we going to put in? Drop it in the chat, because we're going to be trading, but we need to put some lines in. What are those lines? Thank you very much. So I'm going to use my line chart, and you're going to help me to put in those support and resistance levels so we can trade. So before I actually do that, let me at least do the top down, and then we can do that. So the 1 hour using the line chart this is what it looks like on the 1 hour. So I would have top down to the 1 hour, and that way you can see me putting my lines on a lower time frame. So I'm going to put in my support and resistance lines, and I think I will use a lighter blue for my support and resistance lines. If I am not correct, drop it in the chat. If I am not correct, drop it in the chat. I'm changing my color to a lighter blue. So I have that one. Are you in agreement? Are you in agreement? We're taking it a notch higher today. Wednesday, win-win and wealthy Wednesday. We need the education. We must understand what we're doing. Yes. So I'm in agreement. 2 or more touches, 3 more the merrier. Yes, so we have a support and resistance line right here. Okay, so that's 1. Let's move down. We're looking for a sell, not a buy. So I'm moving down. Price is decreasing, so I'm moving down. Here we go. Let's go again, ladies and gentlemen. I need to find another support and resistance. So this is a support where my cross is. That's a support. We have encountered resistance here. Okay, so this is why this is a support and a resistance area. I've put a line in, time to move down. And I'm going to move down. Let's see. Wow. Okay, right there. You're going to enjoy this as much as I do one of these days. I can't wait for one of you to come on and share your screen and be able to do this. I can't wait. But I presume this will happen when we have transitioned to the next platform. Okay, so what we are seeing here is our support and resistance. You can see that we came here and you can see price rejected off here. We came here again, price rejected off here. But what you can see is that we pushed through when we got here. So this is what I mean when it's important to put in your support and resistance, because once again, when you break that support and resistance, what happens? When you break it, you get into the trade and you ride it to the next support and resistance. Look at how smooth this is. You see how smooth this is? Once it broke, look at that. Once it broke, look at that. Right here again. Once it broke, look at that. You actually hit your take profits. Once you broke, it went straight to the next support and resistance. Once it broke, it went straight to the next support and resistance. Once it broke here, it went straight to the next support and resistance. Now price is falling. What are you seeing? Once it broke this support and resistance, it came to the next support and resistance. Once it broke this one, it came to the next one. If you are able to follow through with that, put your 555s in the chat, and I'm going to top down using my candles now. So I'm going to change back to candles, my Hikanachi candles. Can you see what I'm seeing? This is how you trade between your support and resistance levels. Now, we want you to now top down to the 15-minute time frame. But before we top down to the 15-minute time frame, we're going to go back on our line chart. And guess what? We're going to see what the next support and resistance level is. So I need to go back on my line chart and find the next support and resistance. Okay. Now, it's up to you to agree. Put it in the chat if you agree or if you disagree with the lines I'm putting in. I am going to put in more support and resistance. More support and resistance. Okay. And you can continue doing that all day, because once you break a support and resistance, you tend to move to the next and the next and the next. Okay, putting it back on candles. Hikanachi, that's the candle we use, using the BYOB cash out strategy. How do I look? Do I look good on here? Put some fire emojis if I look good. I would like to be happy about that. You know, it's enjoying what you do. Put some fire emojis if you like my support and resistance. Because you can see, this is how we profit. Once we break a support and resistance level, this is how we trade and make our pips in the market. Now, you are going to do the same thing as well, because when you're trading as of now, you know you had a taster on Monday and Tuesday, how to draw your support and resistance. Now you're seeing how to put your support and resistance in the charts so you can trade between those support and resistance levels. And as you top down to the 15 minutes, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see how it just smooth? It's so smooth. It just moves between those support and resistance levels. And now for your 15 minutes, you must have 3 indicators. Your blue line has now crossed below, the red line pointing down. Yes, we are in an oversold, be mindful. And of course, we have a flat top red candle, PSR at the top. So of course, we would have needed 3 indicators in agreement or in alignment. But just remember, if we pull back, let me show you what I mean when I say pull back. Let me use the better word. When price corrects, forgive me, because you might not know what that is. When price corrects, it can come back to this level. So, you know, it may come back to this level. If it breaks this level, what's going to happen? It's going to move to another support and resistance. So if it breaks that level, it's going to move to another support and resistance level. So now you understand what I mean when I say price tends to correct when it's oversold. When it's oversold, it will correct, and it corrects between support and resistance levels, and then you will get your fall. So price will continue to move down. Now, if you were able to understand that, then I want you to drop a 777 in the chat. So if we have price correct and it breaks the support and resistance level, goes up and corrects again, then price will move down. And that's what we mean when we say you get more pips after price has corrected. That's what I mean when I say price corrects, and when price corrects, you get a lot more pips when price falls. Okay? And then, of course, you would top down to your 5 minutes. You only need 2 indicators to be in agreement or in alignment before you enter the trade. So once again, the blue line would need to be below the red line pointing downwards. But what you can see right now is we are oversold on the 5 minutes. So we're seeing the correction taking place. Can you see the correction? It's taken place. Now, once it breaks this support and resistance level, it is likely to continue on to the next support and resistance level, and you wait for the fall. So now that we have gone through NZD-JPY, pointing out how you draw your support and resistance levels in, I am going to look at AUD-JPY. If you have been able to follow through, drop the 555s in the chat, and we're going to look at AUD-JPY. Now that I have been so slow, my pace was very slow, now you should be able to follow what I'm doing on AUD-JPY. Drop your 555s in the chat if you were able to understand. My markings will be saved because I'm using TradingView. It saves my charts. So that's a good thing. It saves my charts. So I'm on TradingView, and once I put my markings on my chart, it will be there until I return. AUD-JPY. Here we are. Once again, we start on our 15-minute time frame of analysis. It doesn't matter what we analyze, whatever asset we analyze on here, we always start on the 15-minute time frame once we're using the BYOB cash out strategy. So we are starting on the 15-minute or time frame of analysis. For a potential sell, we are expecting to see the blue line point below the red line pointing downwards. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing a red candle with a flat top and the PSR at the top. So we have all 3 indicators in agreement or in alignment. So, okay, we know we're oversold because we just talked about it with NZD-JPY. Once you see that 20 marker, you're approaching it or you hit the low, you know you're oversold. Price has been falling, and now it's fallen below the 20 marker. It means we're in an oversold territory. So again, we are aware we are oversold. So we're now moving to another time frame, our time frame of confluence. Ladies and gentlemen, we only need 2 indicators to be in agreement or in alignment. And that's exactly what I am seeing. And I take it that's exactly what you're seeing as well. So we're seeing for the stochastic, we always check the stochastic first, the blue line point below the red line pointing downwards. And that's what we would like to see. That's what we're seeing. And we're seeing a red candle. That's all we need is a red candle. But it so happens we're getting a flat top red candle, which is confirmation that we're getting some momentum to the downside. And we're also seeing a PSR at the top, which we do not have to have. And that gives us additional confirmation. So we're looking good on the 1 hour time frame. It's time to move to our time frame of authority, which gives us a bigger picture and gives us a direction. What's happening? What are you seeing? Well, once again, we must look at our stochastic because it's our leading indicator. We must see the blue line push below the red line pointing downwards, and we must see a red candle. That's a must. However, we're getting, well, it looks like a flat top initially, but I can see a tiny, tiny, tiny wick. So it's not as flat as, well, as I was thinking. So I see a tiny baby wick. But yes, all we need is a red candle, and we're getting that. So the 4 hour, what we are able to see, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have two indicators in agreement and in alignment. And it's time to see where we are in the market. So we've done it with NZDJPY. Time to do it here as well. So this is where we were in the market. Not a surprise, we did come to a support and resistance level right here. We were at a support and at a resistance level right here. And guess what? Yes, we came to a psychological level right there. Change my color to dark blue. And I just need to put in 90.000, where the banks love to come and fill their orders. And that's why we do not put in trades at those psychological levels. We do not put the trades to take profit here, and we do not put entries here for that reason. So we are at a psychological level right here, and it's no surprise that we came to that level and price rejected. And it's now time to pretty much go to our line chart. And I like the 1 hour to go to do my line chart. No hard and fast rule. You can choose which one you want to do it on. I just like my 1 hour. Okay. So I'm going to put in my support and resistance lines. Okay. Let's go down here. Pretty much closer here. Right, I'd rather take that one. If only I had clicked on my horizontal line, that would be helpful. Okay, so that's one. Let me change the color to light blue. And as I move down, I'm going to look for those support and resistance levels. The line chart helps you to see clearer. Okay, there are some people who are quite happy to use the candles. That's fine. It's up to you what you do, as long as you're happy doing it. And now we see that one. I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing, but eventually with practice, you can do it a lot quicker. You can do it a lot quicker. Okay, let's push that one there. And as we move down, we can get one right there. Okay, and even further down. So I'll do one more. Okay, and now I'm going to change back to my Hikanachi candle. Trending candles, that's the candles we use when we're doing the BYOB cash out strategy. So on the 1 hour, you can see how price comes to those levels, reject, and if it pushes through, then you can get in and catch those pips. So that's why you can catch so many pips on one trade, because you're trading between support and resistance level. So of course, ladies and gentlemen, we would go back because we are topping down. Can you see that that candle broke through? Watch this, watch this. It broke through. So we're expecting this to come all the way back down or close enough to our next support and resistance level. Be mindful, we're oversold as well on the 15 minutes. So I personally wouldn't be trading when we are oversold on the 15 minutes. Some people do. And we must have 3 indicators in agreement or in alignment. And then, of course, our 5 minutes is our time frame for entry. Once again, we must see the blue line push below the red line, pointing downwards, and we must have a red candle. For those who are new to trading, a red top flat candle is ideal because it removes that anxiety. It's a much smoother trade for you. So you would have had your 2 indicators in agreement or in alignment, but once again, be mindful, we are oversold on the 15 minutes as well as the 5 minutes. But now that you would have gone through the analysis on AUDJPY as well as NZDJPY, if you've been able to follow through, then put a 555 in the chat. And yes, it automatically saves it on your screen when you use the trading view. It automatically saves it on the screen. So ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We are at the top of the hour. We are at the top of the hour at this time. And I enjoyed this morning because I enjoy doing this type of analysis where you can see exactly what needs to happen when you truly understand what you're doing and you're learning the skill set so you can be looking at hundreds of pips when you trade in a day. And that's where we want you to be. Profitable traders. So I look forward to seeing you all enrolling in the BYOB trading platform. We can't wait to have you all on board. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't wait to have you all on board. And now we're at that point where we have to say goodbye for now. And I hope to see you next week. Today at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have another call and we need to be able to appreciate market structure to the highest level. So make sure you jump on 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, we are looking forward to trading another week in the market with you. If there are any more calls for this week, I'm pretty sure our educator on the 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time call will make you aware of it. So thank you all for joining, and I'm looking forward to you all having a win-win and wealthy Wednesday. God bless. You can review the call. Yes, you can. It's on social. Yes, we are still on social media. You can review the call. Not a problem. Okay.